Let's talk about consistency. So my homeboy reached out the other week and said, "Hey, I need you to help me because I feel like I need to be more consistent. I lack consistency." Ooh, okay, Skin. I said, "Okay, I got you." I called him yesterday because I had a revelation. And things like consistency and procrastination, those things are just a fever. You know how when you go to the doctor and the doctor says, "Oh, you have a fever," the fever is not the diagnosis. The fever is the indicator that there's a internal issue going on, and the fever just lets you know that your body is trying to heat up to fight against it. So inconsistency and procrastination is what I would call a fever. Those are signs that there's something internally going on. And we don't need to fix the external sign. Simply putting ice on your forehead may help regulate the fever, but it doesn't solve the internal problem. So I explained to him that he don't have a problem with consistency because I was able to name things that he does show consistency in. His issue is he doesn't deem the things that he's inconsistent in important. Because the things that I named to him that he is consistent in his head, those things are important, so he consistently does them. Does that make sense? And it's the same thing with procrastination. There's things that you don't procrastinate about, such as an emergency situation or whatever the case may be for your individual person. However, the things that you procrastinate about, you don't deem those things important enough. Because if they was important enough, you would put them in the same mental space as the things that you don't procrastinate about. The things that you are consistent in, such as going to work. For the most part, in spite of you being late, in spite of you missing days, you have a consistency about going to work because you understand that going to work pays your bills, gives you a place to live, having a place to live, provides for your family, providing for your family is something you deem important. There's a level of consistency in that. Now, when it comes to those personal things or the other stuff that you want to do that you're not consistent in, you don't think that stuff is important enough. And I know it may be a hard pill to swallow, but that's really the basis of what it is. Unless you have some mental disabling or physical disabling trait that prohibits you doing those things, you just don't think it's important enough. And with all due respect, you just need to reprioritize that stuff in your head. And if you put that stuff in the right spot in your head and raise the level of importance of it, you can then be consistent in it. Case in point, people who don't go to the gym and who don't eat right, they don't think it's important. Flat out, cool. But if the doctor told you today, unless you start eating broccoli every single day for the next 30 days, you're going to die the day you don't eat broccoli because your body needs a specific enzyme that the broccoli has in it in order for you to live. I bet you every last one of you all will eat broccoli every day for those 30 days. Even probably after that, I assure you, you will be consistent in it. If the doctor tells you, hey, if you don't go to the gym and do 12 push-ups a day, you're going to die because your muscle is going to deteriorate, and that deterioration is going to eat away at the heart part right here. I bet you in the kind of money you do them push-ups. I bet you get consistent in that because now you deem it as important. See, that's the basis of it. There's nothing more to it. You just don't think it's important enough. And that's something you got to eat. You're going to have to swallow that. Take it with coffee if you need to. But for the most part, that's literally what it is. You just don't think it's important enough. And that's why you're not consistent in it. And that's okay, because the first step of resolving it is admitting that, I don't think it's important enough. The reason you keep having issues in your relationship is because you are not developing yourself in regards of emotional intelligence, communication. The reason you keep having issues with your finances is because you're not developing yourself. You're not being disciplined. You don't think it's important enough because you get paid next week. That's really what it is. You just don't think it's important enough. And the thing that we think important, we take action to avoid, mitigate, or prohibit those things from happening or affecting us. Prove me wrong. If I'm tripping, Tell me I'm tripping respectfully and explain why. But if not, you're going to have to swallow this pill. And it goes down great with coffee. And I'm not speaking from a place as if I've never been there, because we all the same. I was in the same boat. But you got to think this stuff is important enough in order to go ahead and get it done. Because I'm sure there's areas of your life where you've shown amazing consistency in those areas. I'm sure there's areas in your life where you do not procrastinate. It's certain things that you do not play about. Mess with them kids. Mess with your spouse. Mess with your significant other. I bet you take action on that stuff. But that other stuff, you just don't think it's important enough. And also something else I told my homeboy, I said, not only do you not think a lot of things are important, you don't think you're important enough. You don't think you're important enough to set boundaries. That's why you keep letting stuff happen. Because if you knew how important you were, the things that you know you need to do would be just that important.